Hello, I am Minecraft Phenom 08 and welcome to the 24th episode of my second 1 billion iron ingot challenge. In today's episode, I am going to set up further automation for my ME system here, and I am going to do that through the use of machines from other mods. And the way I'm going to do that is through machine enter or ME interfaces, not machine interfaces, ME interfaces, which stands for matter energy. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but I'm going to be working in this new building I built, so let's get started. So I'm going to do this a little bit differently than I have in the past. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to make everything pretty visible, and for each ME interface, I'm actually going to have two machines attached to each ME interface. So let's go ahead and set up the first few rows here. Yeah, I completely spaced out on something, but that's okay. Actually, I want to move these. I want to move them to the other side of the room. But what I'm going to do is, let's go ahead and plop these down again. They're going to go in approximately the same spot here. And bada boom, there's the first 12. They aren't connected to anything yet, but that's okay. How I'm going to do that is, let me grab some dense cable here, and I'm going to use the blue variant. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch a hole right here, and then I am going to use blue cable or dense blue cable here. We're going to actually not use that right there, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some of the dense conduit right here, and I'm going to run that across. The first thing I need to do is I need to run it across, and then it will run right there, and then we'll have our blue cable poking up through, and that'll be there. But first I need to actually disable all of these other connections down here because we do not want those to interfere. Sometimes Applied Energistics can be funny with its channel routing, and sometimes it doesn't want to play very nicely. So I think what I need to do is I need to drop this down, and actually need to expand this just one more, and then I should be able to grab my dense conduit here and drop that down like so, and that should connect. So now all these interfaces should be connected up to the network. So let's go ahead and cover this up real fast. And I actually didn't need to do that corner, but that's okay. And then the next thing I need to do is I need to plop down some machines. So first off, I'm going to use pulverizers. So the first few spots here are going to be for pulverizers, the first 4. And then we're going to do some redstone furnaces. Basically, the more I use machines, the more machines I'm going to have in this system. So obviously I use pulverizers a lot, I use redstone furnaces a lot, so we're going to be using a lot of those. Next, I'm going to set up some alloy smelters. Now, the alloy smelters and the sag mill are going to be set up a little bit differently than the thermal expansion machines, and that's just due to how how the machines work themselves. But we'll get to that when we get to it. And then next, I'm going to do the sag mills, which I haven't used yet in this series, but they can be useful. They're a little bit different. They're kind of like pulverizers, but a little bit different in some regards. And then let's see here. What else did I have? Sawmills. Did I not do my math right? Oh, induction smelters. That's what I forgot. So I need to actually grab some induction smelters, but I think I have that automated. So let's see here. Yes, I need 4 of them. Yes. And the alloy smelters and induction smelters are also very similar, but there is some differences there. So that's why I grabbed both of them. The next thing I need to do is, for all of these machines, I need to orient them. For all of the thermal expansion machines, I need to clear everything out and then orient the backside here to be both in and out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that off camera, but also I need to orient the Ender IO machines, and I need to do them slightly differently. They are going to be in from the back and out the top. And we'll have to further configure those in the future, but what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to configure all my machines, all of the thermal expansion machines to be like this, and then all of the Ender IO machines to be like this, and once I have that done, I will be right back. Now that I have all of the machines configured, they actually need some source of power. So let's go ahead and grab some Ender energy conduit here, and we're going to do some digging underneath. So I believe right here will be one row, and then the row behind will be another row. So we just simply need to hook this up to a capacitor, or our capacitor outside, and then we can get some power to these machines. So that shouldn't be too hard, mostly just some digging here. And let's see here. Yeah, we'll need to punch through the wall, something like right here. Let's go ahead and just make a big hole in the wall. Let's grab our wrench as well. Set this to be output. And then we can take our Ender energy conduit and just run it sideways here. And then this can run up. It can also run over because obviously we have another line of machines over here. Oh, yeah, I totally forgot I could do that. Haha. Dumb. So now I just need to cut another hole or another path up here. And then I can just run the conduit right here, and then I can facade this up to make it look all nice and pretty. Oh my goodness, I can't aim. Okay, so let's yeah, let's run it right here. There's no reason not to. And then right there. And I don't need that to connect twice, so let me make sure all that's routed okay. Yeah, that should be fine. So I just need to complete this, and then we can grab some facades and finish that up. Okay, facades. And I am going to need more facades. I know that right now. And I don't think I have that automated quite yet. So I should probably... Let's go ahead and do that right now. Let's go automate facades. It's something that I will be using quite a bit of. Yes. And I know it's on the last page here. So conduit facades right here. Go ahead and do that. And as you can see with the interface terminal, we now have the alloy smelter showing up, induction smelters, and the other machines should be showing up as well down here. Yes, they are. So we need to make sure to stick this in the molecular assemblers. That way it can be crafted correctly. And there we go. I'm not sure if I'm going to need more of these or not. And I actually need to go paint these. I think I do have a painting machine over here. Yes, I do. So let's go ahead and do that. Actually, while we're here, we might as well do more because doing more after this is going to be kind of a hassle. So let's just grab 40 more if we can, and then plop those in as well. Totally forgot about the fact that I need to paint these things before I can actually use them. Okay, so that's good. Moving on. Do I have... I'm not sure if I have stone with me, but I want to grab some stone if I don't. Yes, let's grab some stone. Because I also want to pretty this back up. And then facades. Whoops. Okay, so the other ones aren't done painted yet, but I think I have enough to finish this up. Yes, I do. Okay, cool. So the next thing is we need to make sure that these things have power, and they do. For the Ender IO machines, I actually need to make some capacitors, and I have that automated right now. Let's see if I can't make 10 of these awesome capacitors, or 10 of the best capacitors you can make. Looks like I need some gold, or some gold nuggets. So obviously I haven't automated that yet. Let's go ahead and do that. So gold, I mean, really easy automation here. Boom, there's our pattern. Find the molecular assemblers, pop that in, and then let's try this again. Capacitors, need 10 of them. Fantastic, looks like I have everything I need. Now let's go ahead and make a pattern for something that we can automate over there. So what's lead dust? Lead dust is actually graphite. Let's do the graphite chain. So graphite and graphite dust is stuff I need for NuclearCraft. To make graphite, it's a really simple recipe. We just furnace up coal. So let's go ahead and set that. And what we need to do is we need to hit this tab, go from the crafting pattern to the processing pattern. 1 coal will equal 1 graphite, and we can set that as the pattern. And then for the next pattern, we can go ahead and set graphite. Did I do this in reverse? I'm second guessing myself here. No, I did it okay. Yes. And then dust, graphite dust. So yeah, pulverize the graphite. For whatever reason, I thought maybe I did this in reverse. I did not. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to find the redstone furnace first. And this makes 1 graphite ingot with 1 coal. That should be the recipe for a redstone furnace. And then for the pulverizer, 1 graphite, you create 1 graphite dust with 1 graphite ingot. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Let's go ahead and say craft 100 graphite dust. Now this will be a little bit slow because the machines over there are not the best, but it looks like it's working. There we go. It is working. Fantastic. So now that we have that going, let's go ahead and we need to set up a few more machines here. First off, I'm going to do compactors, and then I'm going to do fluid transposers. The fluid transposers are going to be a little bit different, and yeah, we'll figure that out once we get there. So let's see. Can I make my capacitors yet? Do I have them? I have my capacitors. So let's go ahead and put these in, and I can do that by right clicking, or I can actually go into the interface here and then shift click. Obviously it's easier to do this. So all of these now have capacitors, so they are functional, so that's fantastic. The next step for these guys is I need some item conduit here. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use some item duct. Some impulse item duct. And what I can do is something like this. They should automatically be able to output to the item duct, and then the item duct can carry the items to an MA interface, which can accept items, and any items accepted by the interface will go into the Applied Energistics ME system. So that'll work just nicely. So the next step over here will be to set up compactors and then fluid transposers with magma crucibles. Now the compactors are going to be set up exactly the same as the thermal expansion machines over here. And actually, yeah, let's go ahead and set it up here. So we'll go ahead and lay down the ME interfaces in exactly the same spots as we did before. And then once again, we'll use this. And then dense ME conduits. And what we can do with this is we can do this just a little bit differently, because we should be able to run it just straight over here. And there we go. We have a connection right there. So that'll be a little bit more handy. Whoops. And actually, this will work better if I do that. So then I can grab some facades, of which I am running low on again. How did I just get that achievement? I don't even know. So anyways, what I'm going to do is the compactors are going to be exactly the same as the thermal expansion machines over here. So I'm going to set those up over here, and once I have that done, I will be right back. So now I have all of the compactors set up. They are powered and everything. I have them all wired up, and they're ready to go. So what I'm going to actually do with these ME interfaces is I'm actually going to move these guys. I'm going to move them back one. So let's go ahead and pick them back up. And I think I'm going to move them so that they are on the back wall here. And hopefully I don't have to move them again, but in my head this will work fine. So the next thing is I'm going to set up some fluid transposers. Now these fluid transposers are not going to be used alone. They are going to be used in tandem with magma crucibles in most cases. So let's go ahead and set up 6 of these guys. And there we go. Beside 5 of them, I'm going to set up magma crucibles. And beside this, actually, let's go ahead and configure these things. So I have the fluid transposers set up so that they should accept from the right or from the left, and then they should accept and output to the right. So I think that will work. At least in my mind, this is going to work. So let's set that up for all of these guys. Now these magma crucibles, they need to accept only from the top and output to the right. So there we go. That's all ready to go. Now this last fluid transposer will need water, so we just have an infinite water source block from NuclearCraft here. In the future I might upgrade this because there are 3 different variants of the infinite water source here. So I'm using the cheapest one. It only produces 10 millibuckets per tick. Eventually I will probably upgrade it to a dense infinite water source just to make things a little bit quicker, but for right now it will be more than enough. So what I'm going to use these fluid transposers for are to create items that need to be infused with liquids. So obviously this one will do like buckets of water and stuff that need water. But before we actually get this going, we need to provide power for these guys. So what I can do is just hit this. Let me grab the Ender Energy Conduit again. And basically all these machines, I have 6 of them on. Okay, that should be all of them, so I just need to do something like this. And just to make things look a little bit better, even though I won't ever be able to see this, I'm going to do that. And then let's cover this up. Okay, so there are several things that I can make with these guys, or I will be making with these guys. But the first thing I need to do is I need to actually set up some export buses here. So let's go ahead and set up these export buses here. I need to grab some regular covered conduit or cable here. So let's do that. And we just need to hook this up right there. And actually, just to make this look a little bit cleaner, I'm going to do this. Let me grab my handy dandy crescent hammer, aka wrench. And what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to export several things. Okay, let's get rid of some stuff that we won't be needing, which is most of the stuff at this point. I'm actually almost done. So what I need is some glowstone, which I'm actually going to get energized glowstone, or the liquid glowstone through energized netherrack, if I can find it. I know I have it somewhere. There it is. So then I need energized the destabilized redstone, so that's good. The next thing is I need liquid ender, and I will get that from this right here, the resonant endstone. And then, okay, gelid cryothium is going to be a little bit trickier, so I'll save that for last. And then lava, which I can get from just plain Jane netherrack. Actually, you know what? Let's do cobblestone. It's a little bit more energy and time intensive to do cobblestone, but I have an infinite source of cobblestone at this point, so I should probably use that. So see here, cobblestone can be turned into lava, so we're just going to export cobblestone. So this will be water, this will be lava, so we'll do that. This will be the end, or the resonant ender. This will be the destabilized redstone. This will be the destabilized glowstone, and then this one I actually need to grab a few more things here. First off, I need to make a pattern for cryothium. Okay, so right here we need gelid cryothium. I need to set this as a pattern. I need to put it in a molecular assembler. So there we go. And then I need to actually make some of it. And then I will need a card that I don't think I've used in this series yet. It is a crafting card. If I put this in an export bus, what it will tell it to do is it will tell it to craft the item right here as much as it can and then export it into the inventory it's exporting to. So obviously this will be useful when I do this right here. So I will tell it to craft cryothium dust. Let's go ahead and throw that in here. And then it should start making additional cryothium dust and exporting it automatically into here, which it is now doing. So that's fantastic. So let's take a look at our fluid transposers here. This one has some gelid cryothium in it. It should always have gelid cryothium in it. This one has energized glowstone, destabilized redstone, resin ender. Yeah, like I said, lava goes really, really slow. So this will eventually have lava in it. And I will definitely speed this up in the future. And this one has water. So for example, for the water one of the things I can do is I can make buckets of water, and that will go into my ME system. Obviously, that's going to be super useful. But for today, the only pattern I think I'm going to go ahead and set up is, actually, why not go ahead and set up the water one as well? Actually, there's a few patterns I want to set up. So the water bucket is pretty easy. The recipe is actually going to be 1 empty bucket equals a water bucket. And let's go ahead and test this out. Actually, I can't do that yet because all the fluid transposers will show up the same on the interface terminal. So let's go ahead and do this manually. And then we should be able to say, okay, so I want to craft some water buckets. Let's go ahead and craft 10 water buckets. That should go ahead and start crafting. Perfect, excellent. That is exactly what I wanted to see. So the next thing I want to do is I want to make some flux duct. In this series, I've made resonant flux duct, but I want to go a tier above. So let's go ahead and start setting up some automatic crafting for flux ducts. I think I might need more blank patterns. I should have them already crafted. There we go. So first off, we need the redstone flux duct. And it is crafted like this. It is, actually, we're not going to use fused quartz. We'll use the hardened glass here with, actually, you know what? Let's use the fused quartz recipe because if I can get fused quartz, actually, I can go ahead and automate fused quartz. So for fused quartz, the recipe is 4 nether quartz in an alloy smelter makes 1 fused quartz. So since I don't have any in my system, I can go ahead and do this manually. And then I can set up the recipe for it as well. Okay, so fused quartz. And the recipe is 1 of these guys from 4 of the nether quartz here. There we go. So let's throw that into the alloy smelter. Why are only... Wait, I'm confused. I am having some sort of issue because not all of these are online. And I'm not really sure why, because it should show up as 4 alloy smelters, and it only showed up as 3. So I've either done something wrong, or I'm using too many channels, or yeah. Something I've done is not quite correct. You know what? I'll figure it out later. I'm not going to worry about it right now. Yeah, okay, so what machines are downwind from that? Maybe the sawmill? Sag mill I know is downwind. Huh. Something's weird, but I can't figure it out right now. Anyways, let's go ahead and tell this to make more fused quartz. And it should be able to. Eventually. There we go. So cool, we have fused quartz. Let's go ahead and go back to the flux duct recipe that I want to make. So flux duct, we need the redstone flux duct. We need the crafting first. So like I said, I want to use fused quartz because I can make that pretty easily now. So let's also grab some of this. And then I need to make a secondary recipe here, which will be 1 of this equals 1 of this. And I will need to manually insert this into the correct fluid transposer spot. But first, let's go ahead and throw this first pattern in the molecular assembler place, or ME interface, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so we need to find the redstone. Destabilized redstone is right here. So this pattern will go right here. Oh, and I keep putting them in the wrong spot. So I should be able to say, okay, I need more of this redstone energy flux duct. Let's go ahead and make 100. It should be able to do that. And it is. Fantastic. Fantastic. So the next thing is I need to upgrade that flux duct a little bit. Actually, I just need to set the recipes, I think. So the next step would be the signalum flux duct, and we're going to use this pattern right here. Apparently, I don't have any signalum over here. I know I have signalum at my old base, so I'm going to go ahead and grab that. Also, let's grab some Enderium if I have some. Apparently, I don't have very much. But now that I have an alloy smelter and I have it automatable, I can go ahead and hook that up. So, okay, so there's the signalum recipe, and then we can take the signalum recipe and do the Enderium recipe, or the last recipe here, for the resonant flux duct. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we can go ahead and make this cryo-stabilized flux duct, which is the mother of all of them. And let's see, can I use fused quartz for this? I can. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use fused quartz for this recipe as well, if I could spell fused. Okay, so these are all just regular recipes here. So they go into the molecular assemblers. And then lastly, I actually need to make the final product because I don't have any of these cryothium flux ducts. And what these flux ducts are, frankly, they're pretty amazing because they can transmit infinite amount of power. So obviously that's going to be very, very useful. So we have that going. And now we can go ahead and set the recipe. The recipe will be one of these equals one of these. Fantastic. So that's going to be the final recipe for that. And now I will be automatically able to make a lot more stuff. Now, frankly, there's a lot of stuff I can make with these fluid transposers, and I will be using them quite a bit in the future. But for right now, let's go ahead and make some more of this. Let's tell this to make 100 of these guys. I don't have Electrum right now. I can automate that later. Okay, so I just want to make sure that this works. Is this empty? It is. Just go ahead and tell it to make 3 of them. There we go. Got 3 of them making. So anyways, I think that's a pretty good wrapping up point. So in today's episode, I set up all of this automation right here. All of these machines will be able to do lots and lots of stuff for me in the future. Right now, I only have a few of the patterns set up for a few of the machines. But like I said, this is going to be super, super useful. And everything appears to be running smoothly, except for the fact one of my alloy smelters aren't showing up. But everything else seems to be looking pretty good. So anyways, if you liked today's episode, definitely give it a like. If you enjoy watching automation in modded Minecraft, definitely consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't already. Anyways, signing off, I am Minecraft Phenom 08, and I will see you next time.